Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you once again, dear devotees, for kindly being present. Thank you, Maharaj, for the wonderful presentations. Thank you, His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj, for kindly being present here. Wonderful. Dear devotees, it is customary to glorify the audience. Sri Rupa Goswami, in every literature of his, he has glorified his audience. And so, I also would like to glorify my audience because the audience is very dear to me. Even sometimes I pull out one member from the audience, like I pulled out Prabhuji, but it is just for a little fun. But they are all worshipable, all of you are worshipable for me because all of you are broad-minded poets. There is a very nice verse in the Subhashit literature for Vaishnavas, and this verse is as follows. It is in the meter Anushtup. I'll sing, please sing after me. Kavaya paritushyanti netare kavi suktibhi nahyakuparavat kupa vardante vidhukantibhi. Kavayah paritushyanti. Dear devotees, Kavis, those who are broad-minded poets, the Vaishnavas, paritushyanti, they are all satisfied by Kavi Sukti Bihi, by hearing poetry. And dear devotees, I hope you are satisfied by some of the poetry that was spoken. Yes? So you are Kavis, you have agreed, dear devotees, because it says Kavayaha paritushyanti, only the Kavis will be satisfied. Na itare, those who are not Kavis will not be satisfied. So all of you are Kavis and you have a heart for poetry. Therefore you express satisfaction in such poetry. And the example is given, Nahi akuparavat kupa vardhante vidhukanti bihi. When the full moon arises in the sky, it is the broad-minded, the broad-hearted ocean which swells under the full moon. The narrow-minded waters of the well don't experience any swelling. So it requires a broad heart and a broad mind to be able to experience some emotions when the moon of poetry is visible in the sky. So this, dear devotees, is the glory of all of you. Here is the translation. Prabhu, kindly read.
Only broad-minded poets experience delight and satisfaction by listening to poetry composed by other broad-minded poets. Narrow-minded individuals, devoid of a poetic sense, can never feel it. It is only the broad ocean that swells in the rays of the full moon, and never the narrow wells.
This, dear devotees, is the left side represents all of you. Under the full moon, it is the broad ocean that swells, just like your hearts. And those who are non-Vaishnavas, they are compared to the water of the well. Does the water of the well experience any change under the full moon? No. So it requires a broad-minded audience to be able to relish all these poetries. And I'm very thankful to each and every one of you for kindly being that audience. And we'll also begin with a statement by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says something. Please read, Prabhu, what Prabhupada says in the purport to Bhagavad Gita 16.20.
The placing of the asuras, the demons, in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of His mercy. Sometimes the asuras are killed by the Supreme Lord, but this killing is also good for them. For in Vedic literature, we find that anyone who is killed by the Supreme Lord becomes liberated. There are instances in history of many asuras, Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, to whom the Lord appeared in various incarnations just to kill them. Therefore, God's mercy is shown to the Asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed by him.
So in the purport there is something mentioned. Prabhupada says that sometimes the Asuras are killed by the Supreme Lord, but the killing is good for them. For in Vedic literature we find that anyone who is killed by the Supreme Lord becomes liberated. But this particular feature is applicable mostly to Sri Krishna. We have to understand that the other incarnations of Bhagavan also kill demons, but usually those demons end up getting reincarnated until they are killed by Sri Krishna. So the examples that are given, Ravan, Kamsa and Hiranyakashipu. After Ravan was killed by Bhagavan Ram, because we know that these were Jay and Vijay. So it was not Ravan's final birth. After Hiranyakashipu was killed by whom, dear devotees? Narsimhadev. It was not the final birth of Hiranyakashipu. But the third example mentioned is Kamsa. Kamsa, it was his final birth. So especially Sri Krishna is glorified in Shastra as being giver of liberation unto the demons. Mukunda, Mukum, Muktim, Dadati, Iti Mukunda. He who bestows liberation even upon the demons is called as Mukunda. And there is a verse by which Sri Bilva Mangal Thakur says, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, Santu avatara bhavaha pankajanabhasya sarvato bhadra. Let there be many incarnations of the all auspicious Lord who has a lotus flower growing from his navel. Let there be many incarnations. All of them are wonderful and auspicious. But Krishnad anyah kova latasu api premado bhavati. But who else besides Krishna can give prema even to the creepers, ordinary creepers in the forest? So this, dear devotees, is a very special feature of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And Shri Krishna Leela is so special that it has the capacity to turn pain into pleasure. All of it is within the framework of rasa. So Sri Rupa Goswami has a very beautiful verse in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I'll sing, please sing after me. Karunadav pirase jayate yat param sukham sachetasam anubhava pramanam tatra kevalam. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, Karuna adav api rase. In rasa, there may be some rasas which are giving distress. And these are Karuna ras. Karuna ras is the rasa of piteousness. The Ramayana, especially Valmiki Ramayana, is a kavya, is poetry based on Karuna ras, the mellow of piteousness. In the very beginning, there is piteousness. Valmiki Muni sees that one bird amongst two birds, herons, one of the birds is killed by a hunter, Nishad. And Valmiki is distressed at heart and he ends up giving a curse to that particular Nishad. So Ramayana begins with Karunaras, piteousness. Then Dashrath is without a child. Maharaj Dashrath is without a child. Again there is sadness. Then he gets a child. There is happiness for some time, but immediately in a few days, the Sri Ram and all the brothers have to be sent to the Gurukul of the Guru. Then again when they come back, Vishwamitra Muni takes them again. And when again he gets married, Bhagavan Ram is not able to stay even one day as the king. Then in the forest at least he should remain happy, but no. In the forest also something takes place. What takes place, dear devotees? Kidnapping of Sita. At least after he makes friends with Sugriv, he should be happy. But Sugriv also makes him wait for 4 months of the rainy season. Again distress. Finally when he kills Ravan, then at least there should be happiness. But that happiness is not very long lived. Sita Devi, after coming back to Ayodhya, for some time there is happiness, but then finally the Ramayana ends with what is called as Uttarkand. Uttarkand is where Sita Devi is separated from Bhagwan. From beginning to end, it is filled with one rasa, and which rasa is that, dear devotees? Karuna ras. Sri Rupa Goswami says, Karunadav rase. In rasas such as Karuna, etc., Jayate yat param sukham. There is supreme happiness in all these rasas. So, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami is saying that since it is within the framework of rasa, it is full of happiness, there is no distress in it. But sachetasam anubhava pramanam tatra kevalam. The only praman in this regard is the experience of the like-minded rasika devotees. So that is the praman, that is the proof in this regard. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
The highest variety of bliss occurs even in the relishment of karuna rasa, piteousness, etc. The only proof of this is the experience of like-minded rasikas.
So even in Krishna Lila, whenever there is some distress, we have to understand that this distress is within the framework of Bhakti Ras, and it is not material distress at all. And I'll give you a very simple example. In my childhood, my father often took me to watch dramas. So dramas are different from movies. In dramas, there is a live performance. The seats closer to the stage cost more, unlike in movies where the seats further away cost more. So a drama is also called Rangamanch. Rangamanch means color stage, because from the stage the actors are able to cast colors of various rasas in the audience. So symbolically they are able to throw various rasas in the audience, in the hearts of the audience. So it is called Rangamanch, the stage of various colors. And once I was watching a drama on this separation of Bhagwan Ram and Bharat, and Bharat comes back to the forest to convince Bhagwan Ram. It's a very difficult scene because Bhagwan Ram learns there that he has lost his father. Bhagwan cries piteously there in the forest. And Bharat and all the residents of Ayodhya, they want to convince him to come back. But Bhagwan Ram says that I will not undo the final word that I gave to my father. This was the final word that I gave to my father. I am not going to go back on that. So finally, after a lot of attempts, Bharat knows that he is not going to come back. Bharat requests permission if he can take the slippers, the footwear of Bhagwan Ram. And Bharat puts the footwear and he turns towards the direction of Ayodhya. So as soon as that happens, all the actors who are playing the roles of the residents of Ayodhya on the stage, they start crying loudly. And when they started crying loudly, many people in the audience also started crying at that point of time. This in Natya theory is called Sadharanikaran, generalization of the feelings on the stage. A generalized version of that enters into the heart of the audience, or is called Sadharanikaran. So what the actors are feeling, that same feeling enters into the heart of the audience. So I saw that the person besides me was crying, but that time I was a small child, I couldn't understand much. But many years later I thought, why was he crying? His brother was right next to him. His brother, why are you crying? Your brother is sitting right next to you. But, dear devotees, this is the transcendental nature of rasa. What it does is, it temporarily disconnects you from your material ego and makes you absorbed in the pastime. This disconnection from false ego, which otherwise takes a lot of Ashtanga yoga and renunciation, happens immediately by the effect of rasa. Therefore, rasa is the only non-material substance in the material world. The jiva, Paramatma and rasa, these are known as non-material substances in the material world. And it has the capacity to disconnect us from our ego. And then the person experiences oneness with the heart of the actor. And they finally end up crying or laughing or whatever the emotion is. In English, there is a term for this. It is called catharsis. Catharsis is the term for this in English. That release of emotions which gives rise to transcendental joy. So this catharsis takes place and a person ends up experiencing what is known as ras. They feel completely bathed in the emotion and it gives them supreme joy. After people came out of the drama, many of them were saying, "What a wonderful drama, we would like to watch it again." But if it was full of sadness, why would you like to watch it again? Was it full of sadness or was it full of bliss? Bliss. So, Karunadavapi rase jayate yat param sukham. Actually, it is supreme bliss. Sachetasam anubhava pramanam tatra kevalam. Only the experienced people will tell you that it is bliss. Otherwise, nobody would want to watch a painful situation again and again. But why do they want to watch it again and again? Because it is within the framework of Bhakti Ras. And within the framework of Bhakti Ras, the title says, what does the title say, dear devotees? Pain turns to pleasure. This is what it is. So all these pastimes in Krishna Lila, which may appear externally painful, are actually great sources of pleasure. And Bhagavan therefore enacts those pastimes with his near and dear ones. Anyways, on the border of the edge, on the border of Balya and Pauganda, means Bhagavan was just about to end his childhood pastimes and just entered into Pauganda. Something began, dear devotees. The Srimad Bhagavatam says. Please repeat after me. Shri Shuka Uvacha Tatascha Pauganda Vaya Shritau Vraje Babhuvatustav Pashupala Sammatau Gascharayantau Sakhibhi Samampadair Vrindavanam Punyamativa Chakratu. So Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Tatascha Paugandavayaha. Paugandavaya is just at the age of 5. Paugandavayaha Shritau. They completed 5 years and Vraje. They were in Vraja. Babhuvataustau Pashupala Sammatau. Now Nanda Maharaj made them in charge of taking care of the cows. Previously they were taking care only of the calves. But now they were given charge of the cows. Gas charayantau, while herding the cows. Sakhibhi samampadair, they were walking with their friends. Vrindavanam punyamativa chakratu, and that Vrindavan Bhagavan made completely auspicious by the marks of his feet now, because Bhagavan now started to go deeper into the forest. So this is when the entirety of Vrindavan will receive the touch of the feet of Sri Bhagavan. Here is the translation. Please read, Prabhu.
Shukadeva Goswami said, when Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna attained the age of Pauganda, 5 to 10, while living in Vrindavana, the cowherd men allowed them to take up the task of tending the cows. Engaging thus in the company of their friends, the two boys rendered the land of Vrindavana most auspicious by imprinting upon it the marks of their lotus feet.
So, dear devotees, this particular day when Shri Krishna and Balaram got the charge of cows is called, dear devotees, as the day of Gopashtami. Gopashtami is in which month, dear devotees? Anybody knows which month? Kartik month. So this was the month of Kartik. Sri Sanatan Goswami in his Brihad Vaishnav Toshani says that the 8th day of the bright fortnight of the month of Kartik is known as Gopashtami. And on that day, Krishna became a formal cowherd. Previously, he was only herding the calves. From that day onward, he became a cowherd. So this happened in the month of Kartik. I am mentioning this because I want everybody to make a mental note that this was the season of Kartik. The month was Kartik. So please note this in your mind. It was Kartik Mas. Now, dear devotees, our Bhagavan has started herding cows. Our commentator is already very happy. Huh? He wants to say something that Bhagavan has started herding cows. And why does Bhagavan want to herd unlimited cows in this particular incarnation? He composes a wonderful verse. Dear devotees, in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. All of you know the meter already. Can you sing along with me, dear devotees? Yes. Let's sing together loudly. भूत्वानन्तगवावनैकरसिकस्यार्कस्य वंशे पुरा यद्गोत्राणमकारिचित्रमिह किं वावयोन्विष्टता इत्यावेशविशेषजुष्टहृदयो मन्येन्वयोत्कृष्टताम् प्रेप्सु क्षिप्रमिहाच्चकाङ्क्ष भगवान् निसंख्य गोपालनम्. Shri Krishna was thinking, Rasikasya Arkasya Vamshe Pura. Previously, I appeared in the Vamsha, in the family of Arka. Arka is the sun god, dear devotees. In previous incarnation, I appeared in which dynasty? Sun dynasty. And the sun is the protector of unlimited go. What is the meaning of go, dear devotees? Cows, senses, rays. One meaning of go is rays. So, in previous incarnation, I appeared in the family of that Surya who protects unlimited go. What is the meaning of go, dear devotees? Rays. Another meaning is cows. But in that incarnation, I could protect only one go. What is the meaning of one go? Go also means earth, dear devotees. I hope you are able to understand. In that incarnation, I could protect only how many goes? One. Here, go means earth. But what is the glory in that? Now I got another chance. This time I am in whose lineage? Moon. Moon is also the protector of unlimited goes. Rays. This time I will actually protect unlimited goes. Cows. And therefore Bhagavan decided that in this incarnation I will herd unlimited goes, unlimited cows. Here is the translation. Please read, Prabhu.
Previously, as Rama, he appeared in the lineage of that personality named Sun, who is dedicated to the maintenance of unlimited go, rays. Since his very lineage was dedicated to the maintenance of go, rays, what greatness is there that he protected and maintained one single go, earth, in that incarnation? There is absolutely no greatness for him or his lineage. Therefore, when he appeared in the lineage of the moon, who also maintains unlimited go, rays, Krishna ensured that he not only protects and maintains one go, earth, but also unlimited go, cows. In this way, he increased the glory of the moon dynasty.
So, dear devotees, this is the reason why Bhagavan decided to herd unlimited cows. Bhagavan entered deep within the forest. And when he entered deep within the forest, dear devotees, the Srimad Bhagavatam describes. Please sing after me. Tanmadavo venumudirayam vrito Gopair granadbhi svayasho balanvita Pashun puraskritya pashavyamavisha Vihartu kama kusumakaram vanam. Tan Madhavo, our Madhav. Dear devotees, note the name that Sri Shukdev Goswami gave. What name did Shukdev Goswami give? Madhav. Our Madhav, Venu Mudirayan, while playing on the Venu. What is Venu, dear devotees? What is Vamshi? What is Murli? They are not all flutes. In the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, there are three different flutes mentioned of Sri Krishna: Venu, Vamshi and Murli. Venu being the organic bamboo flute that he plays. And the most favorite flute of Sri Krishna is Venu, which is made out of bamboo. So, Venu Mudirayan, while playing upon the bamboo flute, Vrito Gopair, surrounded by the Gopas, Grinadbihi Swayasho Balanvitaha. The Gopas were singing the glories of him and Balram. Pashun Puraskritya, along with all the animals taking them in front, Pashavyam Avishad, they entered into the forest. Vihartu Kama, Bhagwan was desirous of roaming in the forest. Kusumakaram Vanam, the forest was Kusumakar. What was the forest, dear devotees? Kusumakar. What is Kusumakar? Please read the translation.
Playing on his flute, accompanied by Balarama and surrounded by coward boys singing his glory, Madhava kept his cows in front of him and entered the forest, which was Kusumakara, blooming with flowers, and which provided suitable pasture to the cows.
I had specified one thing. Gopashtami is in which month? And Kartik is which season? Fall season? Fall and beginning of winter? In the fall season and beginning of winter, do flowers bloom? So, what is happening? Dear devotees, Sri Harisuri says, Shukadev Goswami has hidden something. What is the meaning of Kusumarakaram given here, dear devotees? Blooming with flowers. Actually, Kusumakar is also, according to dictionaries, a name of the spring season. Bhagwan made the spring season appear in the month of Kartik. So, although it was fall and beginning of the winters, Bhagwan made Kusumakar appear. And what is Kusumakar, dear devotees? Spring season. Bhagwan made Kusumakar appear. Do you want to see what transformations happened in the forest when Bhagwan entered? Yes, dear devotees. Please have a look carefully. Just as Krishna is entering, dear devotees. Suddenly the fall season goes away. And it is Kusumakaram Vanam. This is Kusumakar. This is what happened when Bhagwan entered into the forest for the first time in his life. The season changed for him. Seasons came out of place, dear devotees. So which season is it right now? In which month, dear devotees? Kartik. In Kartik Mas, our Bhagwan is enjoying spring season. So, dear devotees, Sri Harisuri says one thing. Please repeat after me. Madhav saw Madhav. And a wonderful verse, dear devotees. Vane lasantam prasamikshya madhavam ananta shakha gamabodhitagamam स्वतुल्यमेवात्म विभूति वैभवम् जानन्ययौ तद्विपिनं समाधवः वने लसन्तं, he saw, our Madhav saw in the forest there is Madhav. I am Madhav, and in the forest also there is Madhav. What is the meaning, dear devotees? Yeah, dear devotees, Madhav, Sri Harisuri knows one of the names of the 12 months of the calendar, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnava calendar, is Madhav Mas. Madhav Mas is when the spring season begins, dear devotees. So in the forest, Bhagwan saw Madhav. And what is the meaning of Madhav, dear devotees? Spring. Vane lasantam prasamiksha Madhavam. Madhav saw in the forest that there was Madhav. And Bhagwan said, "Arey, wonderful. Both of us have similar characteristics. What are the similar characteristics? Ananta Shakha Gamabodhitagamam. This Madhav is characterized by Ananta Shakha. The unlimited branches of the trees are proclaiming its arrival. Yes or no? Yes. I am also Madhav. And when I appear, Ananta Shakha, unlimited branches of the Vedas proclaim my appearance. So, Ananta Shakha Agama Bodhita Agamam. Just as my appearance is spoken of by Ananta Shakha, the unlimited branches of the Vedas, the appearance of this Madhav is also spoken by Ananta Shakha, unlimited branches of the trees. Swatulyam, are this Madhav is just like me. Atma Vibhuti Vaibhavam. This Madhav is actually my Vibhuti. It is my potency. Because in the Gita, Bhagavan will say, Ritunam Kusumakaraha. In all seasons, I am which season? Dear devotees, spring. This is me. Janan Yayau. Knowing this, our Madhav embraced Madhav by entering into the forest. Dear devotees. Wow. So Madhav saw Madhav in the forest. Here is the translation. Please read, Prabhu.
Krishna is himself Madhava, husband of Lakshmi, and he is Ananta Shaka Agama Bodhita Agamam,
Wonderful.
the personality whose appearance is understood through the Vedas that have unlimited branches. He saw another Madhava, spring, who is also Ananta Shaka Agama Bodhita Agamam, the season whose appearance is marked by trees that blossom with unlimited branches. Thus, observing that this other Madhava, spring, was similar in opulence, our Madhava, Krishna, embraced him by entering the forest.
Yeah. Krishna embraced his own Vibhuti as described in the Bhagavad Gita. So, dear devotees, which season was it? Spring. Now you will never see the pastime in the same way again. This is the effect of the commentator. You will never ever see the pastime in the same way again. Now, when you will hear the pastime of Krishna entering into the forest for the first time, and when you will hear, oh, it's Gopashtami, but you will remember Gopashtami was which season originally? Dear devotees, spring season. Because Kusumakar is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Ritunam Kusumakar, amongst all the seasons I am Kusumakar. And what is Kusumakar, dear devotees? Spring. So this is, he will change the nature of the pastime for you. Just as he has changed Damodar Leela for you. The milk started boiling because the milk wanted to commit. Which commentator, dear devotees? This is the same commentator. So, this commentator will change all the Leelas for you. And a wonderful commentator. Actually, in Goloka Vrindavan, there are 6 eternal seasons that are mentioned by Sri Kavi Karnapur. And these 6 seasons appear in order. Vasanta Kanta, beautiful spring. Nidaga Subhagaha, auspicious summer. Varsha Harshaha, joyous rain. Sharad Amodaha, extremely joyous fall season. Hemanta Santoshaha, very satisfying pre-winter. And Shishira Sukhakaraha, extremely delightful winters. There are total how many seasons, dear devotees? 6. And these seasons appear in order in the spiritual world. And then there are also compartments in the spiritual world where you can have any season of your choice. So this is that particular phenomenon manifesting here. As soon as Bhagavan entered, dear devotees, something happened. The trees showed respect. And how did the trees show respect, dear devotees? Dear devotees, the trees offered their fruits by bowing down. Here it is what is said. Prabhu, kindly read what is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
The primeval Lord saw that the stately trees, with their beautiful reddish buds and their heavy burden of fruits and flowers, were bending down to touch his feet with the tips of their branches. Thus he smiled gently and addressed his elder brother. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O greatest of lords, just see how these trees are bowing their heads at your feet, at your lotus feet, which are worshipable by the immortal demigods. The trees are offering you their fruits and flowers to eradicate the dark ignorance that has caused their birth as trees.
So there is something very important to be noticed here. Originally it says the trees were bending down to touch Krishna's feet. But Krishna took all of that glory and gave to Balaram and said they are bending down in respect of you, showing respect to you. Dear devotees, Bhagavan took all the credit and offered it to Sri Balaram. At this point of time, there's a wonderful verse Sri Harisuri composes. This verse is in the meter Prithvi. A wonderful verse, dear devotees. I'll sing. Please sing after me. Laguna Vidago Ganan Binirikshana Samprati Namanti Urubhalarpanai Satata Viprasanga Ime. अहो मन निवास नाम तिथि सत्कृति प्रेमता सुविष्णु पदगामिता तदुचितेति मन्यामहे. This meter is Prithvi. This meter you might have heard in very popular verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anarbita jarim shirat karunayavatirna kalau. That same meter, dear devotees, is the meter Prithvi. Sri Bhagavan says, Sri Krishna said to Balaram, Lagun, we are small. There are two meanings to small. We are small in age and we are small in social stature. We are Vaishyas, we are not Brahmanas. Lagun, we are small. Avita go ganan, it is not clear whether we are protecting the cows or the cows are protecting us. Api nirikshana, still by seeing us, samprati, at this point of time, namanti, the trees are bowing down, uruphalarpanai, and offering the best fruits. Fruits has two meanings, dear devotees. Fruit which grows on the tree and results of actions, dear devotees. They are offering us the choicest fruits. Satata viprasanga ime. This wonderful behavior is due to satata viprasanga, due to constant association of dvijas. Constant association of dvijas. Which dvijas, dear devotees? Birds. Because birds are also known as dvijas. Certainly they must have had constant association of dvijas. One meaning is Brahmanas, one meaning is birds. So these trees have constant association of dvijas, therefore they have learned the important lesson that you should always offer the best fruits of your life to Sri Krishna. Aho vananivasinam atiti satkriti premata. Aho, how wonderful is the hospitality of the forest dwellers. Look at the hospitality of the forest dwellers. They offer everything that they have unto us. Unlike the city dwellers, dear devotees, there is a big difference between forest dwellers and city dwellers. The forest dwellers offer everything, and the city dwellers, we have to take appointment from them for visiting their home, dear devotees. There's a big difference. Aho vananivasinam. Look at the forest dwellers. Atiti satkriti premata. What joy and love there is in their hospitality. For such hospitality, there should be a great result. Suvishnu padagamita taduchiteti manyamahe. That these trees have attained Vishnu pad. Vishnu pad is the abode of Vishnu. These trees have attained the abode of Vishnu. I consider it very befitting. Dear devotees, one meaning of Vishnu pad is abode of Vishnu, that is Vaikuntha. Another meaning of Vishnu pad is where Vishnu's feet went as Vaman Dev in the sky. Another meaning of Vishnu pad is the sky. That these trees have attained the high skies, I consider it very appropriate. For such behavior, you should certainly attain Vishnu pada. the abode of Vishnu or the sky. Please read the translation. Here, the verse has many dual meanings.
Although we are small children, and it's not certain if we are protecting the cows or the cows are protecting us, yet these trees bow down to us and offer us the best fruits, results of their lives. Certainly, these trees must have been in constant association of Dvijas, twice born Brahmanas, twice born birds. How wonderful is the loving hospitality of these simple forest dwellers. Certainly, for such trees to achieve Vishnupada, the abode of Vishnu or the sky, is most appropriate.
Dear devotees, our Bhagavan then started glorifying his brother even more. He saw other entities in the forest, and these other entities in the forest were also getting delighted. Dear devotees, let's see which all entities in the forest were getting delighted by the presence of Shri Krishna. But Shri Krishna is giving all of that glory to whom, dear devotees? Balaram. Prabhu, kindly read.
Krishna said, "My dear brother, you are the supreme worshipable Godhead. Just see how the peacocks are dancing before you in great ecstasy."
Okay. The peacocks are actually dancing for whom, dear devotees? The dark cloud. The peacocks become happy on seeing which cloud? Dark cloud. So, dear devotees, the peacocks are dancing on seeing the dark cloud, not the white cloud. Huh? But the dark cloud is giving all the credit to the white cloud here at this point of time. All right, let's read ahead.
The deer, whose behavior is just like that of the gopis, are welcoming you with the same affection. And the cuckoos, who are residing in this forest, are welcoming you with their joyful, sweet cries, because they consider that your appearance in their home is so auspicious.
Dear devotees, the cuckoos also mainly make a sound in which season, dear devotees? Spring season. Another indication of the same fact. It was spring season. Okay, please move ahead.
Even though they are trees and animals, these residents of Vrindavana are glorifying you. They are prepared to welcome you to the best of their ability, as is the practice of great souls in receiving another great soul at home.
Wonderful. Please read ahead.
As for the land, it is so pious and fortunate because the footprints of your lotus feet are marking its body. It is quite natural for these Vrindavana inhabitants to thus receive a great personality like you. The herbs, creepers, and plants are also so fortunate to touch your lotus feet. And by your touching the twigs with your fingernails, these small plants are also made glorious. As for the hills and the rivers, they too are now glorious because you are glancing at them.
All of this is whose glory, dear devotees? Yeah, it is originally Sri Krishna's glory. Sri Balaram appeared in the womb of Devaki, and it is said by the commentators he appeared as a servant and made sure everything is proper for Krishna, and then he went away. His role also as Ananta Shesh is that of a servant, dear devotees. But here Bhagavan is glorifying Ananta Shesh, who is actually acting in service of Shri Krishna. All of this glory he wants to speak for himself, but he can't take so much glory for himself. So he is he's speaking through whom, dear devotees? Through Sri Balaram. Now something happens. Please read.
Above all, the damsels of Vraja, the gopis, are the most glorious because you embrace them with your strong arms, being attracted by their beauty.
What? Where are the gopis in the forest? The birds are there, the peacocks are there, the animals are there, the land is there, the gopis are not there. So why is he making such a statement? Bolo? Dear devotees, our commentator is rubbing his hands at this point. He caught Bhagwan in a very tight spot at this point of time. Composes a verse in the meter Sragdhara, one of the longest meters in Sanskrit poetry. I'll break every line into two parts. Please sing after me. Adhyaso yasya yasmin मनसि दृढ़तरो वर्तते वस्तु जाते तद्वक्त्रा तद्विनिर्याति अवश्यम समये भूरि संस्कार योगात् एवं गोपी गतात्मा सहि विभुरवदद् गोपिका धन्यतोक्तिम् नो चेदुद्दिश्य रामम् विपिनगतनुतौ तादृगुक्त्य प्रसक्ति अध्यासो यस्य यस्मिन्. He says, if somebody is repeatedly practicing something, मनसि दृढ़तरो, repeated practice in the mind, vartate vastu jate, tadvaktra tadviniryati, then sometimes it accidentally comes out of your mouth. This happened one time in the case of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. One time, because at the time of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, they used to have kaudis. Kaudis is these shells as coins. But the British government had introduced paper currency. So somebody bought a piece of paper currency in front of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. And they showed him paper currency. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji held the paper currency in his hand and said, "What is this?" So they say, "It is taka." Taka, in Bangladesh, in Bengal they say taka. It's money. Money? Who gave this money? Who made this money? So that person said, government. Govardhan? Govardhan made money? No. Government. So somebody said government, but Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji heard Govardhan. So similar. Adhyaso yasya yasmin manasi dridhataro vartate vastu jate. If there is repeated practice of something in the mind, tad vaktrat tad viniryati, sometimes it comes out of the mouth. Avasham, helplessly. Asamaye, also at the wrong time. Bhuri samskara yogat. This happens because of repeated impressions. Evam, therefore, and Sri Harisuri now throws a sarcastic pebble at Bhagwan. Gopi gatatma, the Lord who lost his soul in the gopis. Dear devotees, the Lord who lost his heart and soul, everything in the gopis. Sahi vibhuravadat, that Supreme Lord ended up saying, Gopika dhanya toktim, all glories to the gopis. But are the gopis present, dear devotees? No. No ched. If this was not the case, then why in the middle of the forest for no reason will he say to Balaram any such thing? It was purely a recollection of previous practice. Imagine our Bhagwan has already started thinking of the gopis. At what age, dear devotees? 5. Yeah. Like it is said, all pastimes take place at all ages. So our Bhagwan is already very excited for what is going to come up in his future years. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
If a particular person or object is fixed within one's mind, then a natural consequence of this is that the name of that person.
Jai. Shri Radha Damodar Bhagwan ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki. Jai.
If a particular person or object is fixed within one's mind, then a natural consequence of this is that the name of that person or object spontaneously comes out of one's mouth. This happens due to the force of one's samskaras of repeatedly thinking about it. This certainly proves that our Krishna had already lost his heart to the gopis, since he ended up spontaneously speaking about them to Balaram in the forest at a time where there was absolutely no reason to mention their names.
So, dear devotees, Krishna lost something in Vrindavan, all right, and he had already lost his heart to the gopis by this time. It is very clearly indicated. The commentator has caught Shri Krishna red handed and exposed his weakness in front of the entire world at this point of time. This is a wonderful commentator, dear devotees. Now, see, in the morning katha, there was a lot of laughter, and I was also very happy. But kathas are of two types, one in which we get to experience some rasa, and one in which we get to experience some tattva. This particular katha is more inclined towards tattva, because now the main tattva portion will start. Dear devotees, please pay close attention to what is about to happen next. At this point of time, the boys started requesting Shri Balaram, not Shri Krishna, Shri Balaram, because Shri Krishna had sung whose glories? Balaram. So the boys are saying, wow, Balaram. Huh? Now they started requesting Balaram. Please read.
While Krishna was thus engaged in his transcendental pastimes, exhibiting his internal potency in the company of the supermost fortunate cowherd boys, there occurred another chance for him to exhibit the superhuman powers of Godhead. His most intimate friends, Sri Dama, Subala, and Stoka Krishna, addressed Krishna and Balarama with great love and affection thus: Dear Balarama, you are very powerful. Your arms are very strong. Dear Krishna, you are very expert in killing all kinds of disturbing demons. Will you kindly note that just near this place there is a big forest of the name Talavan. This forest is full of palm trees, and all the trees are filled with fruits.
Please read ahead.
Some have fallen down, and some are very ripe, even in the trees. It is a very nice place, but because of a great demon, Dhenukasura, it is very difficult to go there. No one can reach the trees to collect the fruits. Dear Krishna and Balaram, this demon is present there in the form of an ass, and he is surrounded by similar demon friends who have assumed the same shape. All of them are very strong, so it is very difficult to approach this place. Dear brothers, you are the only persons who can kill such demons. Other than you, no one can go there for fear of being killed. Dear Balaram, if you like, let us all go there and enjoy these fruits.
Finally, they requested one person. Whom did they request? Balaram. Dear devotees, at this point of time, Sri Balaram enters the forest, and Sri Balaram is in a very intoxicated mood. Goes inside the forest, dear devotees, and vigorously shakes the tal trees. The Srimad Bhagavatam says, Bala pravishya bahubhyam talan saparikampayan phalani patamayas matangaja iva ujasa. Balaha pravishya, Balaram entered. Bahubhyam, took both his hands. Talan saparikampayan, and shook the tal tree. Dear devotees, what is tal? Which fruit is tal? Yeah, dear devotees, please repeat. Ice apple. Alright, so you can search on the internet what is known as ice apple. Ice apple is the fruit of the tal tree. It is available in tropical places, ice apple. This name was given because when the British came to India, they saw lot of varieties of fruits, but the vocabulary was slightly limited. So one fruit was named as ice apple. Another fruit was named as pineapple. That fruit which is known as ananas in the rest of the world was known as which apple, dear devotees? Pineapple. Even in Sanskrit, the term ananas comes from Sanskrit. And in all parts of the world, the fruit is known by that name, ananas. But the Britishers, what name did they give it? Pineapple. And then they saw sitaphal. And what is the name of sitaphal, dear devotees? Custard apple. Then they saw the bale fruit, wood apple, dear devotees. And then they made the computer, that also was apple, dear devotees. So in this way, dear devotees, everything was apple. But the original name is tal fruit. Tal is, in English it is called ice apple. So the ice apple fruit, it's a very wonderful sweet fruit. It has a slightly intoxicating nature. If you ferment it, it has an intoxicating nature. And Kamsa was using it to make that intoxicant. Okay, today also that intoxicant is made, okay, using tal fruits. It's called tadi. Tadi is the intoxicant that is made using that particular fruit. Is the tal fruit, and this tal tree is very high tree, dear devotees, very, very high tree. Alright, very high. And the fruits are high above, you can't reach with your hands. So dear devotees, the boys requested, Balram shook the tree and brought the tal fruits down. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
Lord Balaram entered the Tala forest first. Then, with his 2 arms, he began forcefully shaking the trees with the power of a maddened elephant, causing the Tala fruits to fall to the ground.
Dear devotees, Sri Harisuri says at this point of time, in Sanskrit, 2 letters, 2 syllables are interchangeable. Please repeat after me. La, Ra. La and Ra are interchangeable. Therefore, sometimes in the Bhagavatam you find the name Prahlad, and sometimes you find the name Praharad with the Ra. I hope you are able to understand. 2 syllables are interchangeable. What are the 2 syllables? La and Ra. So, Sri Balaram went seeking, please repeat, Tala Phala. What is Tala Phala? Which fruit, dear devotees? Tal fruit. But dear devotees, there is a very deep hidden meaning. It is Tara Phala. Which Phala, dear devotees? Tara, dear devotees, refers to the original Vedic syllable Omkar, Pranav. This Pranav, dear devotees, Omkar is the ripened fruit of that Vedic literature, is high on the Agam. One meaning of Agam is tree. One meaning of Agam is Vedas. Is high on the tree. Dear devotees, it is very difficult for this ripened fruit of the Vedas, Krishna Prem, to be accessed by the ordinary sadhakas. Therefore, it is Sri Guru who enters, shakes the tree of Vedic literature, and brings down the ripened fruit of Sri Krishna Prem in the hands of the ordinary sadhaka. So the fruit is full of rasa. If how many have eaten tal phal? Please raise. Fortunate people who have eaten tal phal. It is a fruit full of rasa. Once it's just like a jelly, It's just like jelly. But jelly also can't do justice to the original effect of the tal phal. So dear devotees, next time, those of you who have not eaten, please don't let your human form of life go waste. Whenever you go to India, please make sure you try to find which phala? And also try to find tar phala, dear devotees. Because that tar phal is what will actually make your life successful. Krishna Prem is tar phal. It is the ripened fruit of Vedic literature. It is high on Agam tree, the tree of Vedas. It cannot be brought down by the efforts of one's own self. You need Adi Guru. Who is Adi Guru, dear devotees? Sri Balaram. You need a Guru who can shake the trees of Vedic literature and bring down the proper conclusions right within your hands. So dear devotees, this is the wonderful meaning of the pastime. I said some pastimes make you laugh. In the morning we did that. So those pastimes may not have such philosophical depth as pastimes like these. These pastimes have immense philosophical depth. And at that point of time, dear devotees, Sri Harisuri says the tal trees also give a hidden message to us. This verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. Let's sing together, dear devotees. शीतोष्णादिसहिष्णवोऽप्यविरतं विष्णोपदालम्बिनो रण्यस्थाश्च महातपस्थितिजुषो प्येक्याग्र्यगा भूमिजा जातश्चेत्खलसङ्गिनो विधिवशा भ्रश्यत्फलास्युक्षणात् एवं तालफलाभिपातनमिषा आबोधिरामेण किम्. Look at the trees. Shitoshnadi sahishnavo. Do the trees not tolerate summers and winters? Yes or no? They're just like yogis. Do the yogis not tolerate summers and winters? Yes. Aviratam Vishnu Padalambino. The trees take shelter of Vishnu Pada. I told you one meaning of Vishnu Pada is sky. Another meaning of Vishnu Pada, the yogis want to attain the abode of Vishnu. So the trees and yogis are very similar in this regard too. Aranyasthas, the trees are also in the forest and the yogis are also in the forest. Mahatapasthiti Jusho, the trees execute great austerities and so do the yogis. Ekagrega, the trees stand on one leg, so do the yogis. Bhumija, but Jatas Ched, however, if by misfortune, Khala Sangino, if the yogis associate with Khala, Khala is a ruffian person, an asadhu, a non-saintly person, Bhrashyat Phalah Syukshanad, all the fruits of the Ashtanga yoga practice of the yogi become destroyed. If they associate with an asadhu, a ruffian. Similarly, if these trees also associate with khala, I said there is no difference between the syllable la and ra. Khala will become what? Khara. Khara means donkey. Dear devotees, if they have association of donkeys, immediately their fruits will fall down. And this was shown in the past time. Phalabhipatanamishad. By bringing the fruits down of the trees, Balram indicated, don't associate with khalas. Don't associate with ruffians. And for the trees, don't associate with donkeys. This is the hidden meaning behind the entire pastime. Please read, Prabhu.
There is a lot of similarity between these thala trees and yogis aspiring for perfection. Both of them constantly tolerate heat, cold, and other harsh conditions. They both aspire to touch Vishnupada, sky or Vishnu's feet. They both are situated in the forest. They both experience immense austerities. They both are fixed in one place on the earth. However, if the thala trees come in physical contact with a kara, donkey, they lose all their fruits. Similarly, when yogis come in contact with kalas, ruffians, they immediately lose all their fruits of realization. This is the hidden indication that Lord Balaram gave when he made the thala fruits fall on the ground.
Dear devotees, at this point of time, when Balaram brought the fruits down, somebody got disturbed. And who got disturbed, dear devotees? Dhenukasur. Please read, Prabhu.
Upon hearing the sound of the falling fruits, the demon Dhenukasura, who was living there in the form of an ass, approached with great force, shaking the whole field so that all the trees moved as if they were an earthquake. The demon appeared before Balarama and kicked his chest with his hind legs. At first, Balarama did not say anything, but with great anger, the demon kicked him again more vehemently.
The first attack was tolerated by Sri Balaram. Second time he attacked, Balaram caught hold of his feet. And he still tried to attack Sri Balaram. At this point of time, Sri Harisuri says there's a very important lesson to be learnt. The meter is Vasanta Tilakam. Sampiditopi sarala phaladana shilo Dushta samudrita padopi sadushta eva तालादिकम्पनमथाङ्घ्रिधृतिः खलस्य मन्ये बलेन रचितेति निदर्शनाय Sampiditopi sarala. If there is a very straightforward person, even if you shake the very core of his existence. Dear devotees, there are two things being referred to here. One is the tal tree. The tal tree is a very straight tree. It is not crooked. Even if the person who is straightforward, even if you shake him to the core of his existence, he will still give you the best fruits of his life. Saralaha phaladanashilo. But dushtaha, crooked person, look at Dhenukasur. Samudhrita pado, even if you hold his feet, he will kick you again. Dear devotees, even if you hold his feet, he will kick you again. Talani kampana mathangri dhriti khalasya manye balena rachiteti nidarshanaya. For this purpose, Balaram tolerated not one attack, but how many attacks? 2 attacks of this particular demon. Please read, Prabhu.
The 2 lessons to be learnt are that 1. A person who is as straightforward in life as the Tala tree easily gives the fruits of his life to others, even though he is shaken to the core of his existence. 2. On the other hand, a ruffian remains a ruffian even if you catch hold of his feet.
And then Balram decided to teach him a lesson. And at that point of time, Balram gave the original domino effect. Please read.
The demon kicked him again more vehemently. This time, Balaram immediately caught hold of the legs of the ass with one hand and, wheeling him around, threw him into the treetops. While he was being wheeled around by Balaram, the demon lost his life.
Okay, so he lost his life in the very process of, by the centrifugal motion. He lost his life. Yeah.
Balaram threw the demon into the biggest palm tree about, and the demon's body was so heavy that the palm tree fell upon other trees and several fell down. It appeared as if a great hurricane was passing through the forest, and all the trees were falling down one after another.
So in modern American language, this is called the which effect, dear devotees? Domino effect. So Balram exhibited the original domino effect by throwing Dhenukasur on top of the palm tree. And dear devotees, it has a very important lesson. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya says, this is the final part of the presentation. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya says, Dhenukasur, every asur in Krishna Lila represents an anartha within the heart. And Dhenukasur represents the anartha of becoming envious of another Vaishnava who may be reading the literature of the previous acharyas. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the tal fruits are comparable to the sweet literatures of the previous acharyas filled with rasa. Usually these fruits are not easily accessible to many individuals. But if they are accessible to somebody, then by looking at that particular individual, the Dhenukasur within our heart should not become envious and should not prevent, because Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur says Dhenukasur himself did not taste the tal fruits. He would not allow others to taste the tal fruits. This was the nature of Dhenukasur. And the purport Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says is that there are many writings of the previous acharyas which people with a mechanical mindset neither read themselves nor allow others to read. And then Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses the word donkey-like devotees, that is the exact term he uses. Donkey-like devotees who are interested only in the regulative principles but who do not have any higher taste for rasa should check if this anartha in the form of Dhenukasur is present within their hearts or not. And if that anartha is present, then there is only one person who can drive away that anartha, dear devotees. The Guru, who is himself a relisher of tal phal. The Guru should himself be a relisher of tal phal. and that guru can easily check the tendency of Dhenukasur within the heart, the devotees. It's very important to understand that this tendency should not be present within the heart of the individuals who are within this Krishna Bhakti movement. In the purport to the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada has very clearly written that the serious student should read the commentaries of the previous acharyas to better relish the message. But this does not contradict at all with reading the books of Srila Prabhupada. I hope you are able to understand. So, reading the books of the present acharya and reading the books of the previous acharyas are not two contradictory things. Actually, by reading the books of the present acharya, one gets clarity into the writings of the previous acharyas. And by reading the books of the previous acharyas, one gets clarity into what the present acharya has written. Thereby, both nourish each other. And that is the harmony which exists between the literature of the current acharyas and literature of the previous acharyas. But Dhenukasur has the tendency to reside within the heart. Neither I will read myself, nor I will let anybody else read. So this tendency is personified in the form of Dhenukasur. And that tendency should be taken care of. But there is Krishna will not take care of it. Who will take care of it, dear devotees? Balaram. So the Guru has to, the Adi Guru, Balaram. And for us devotees, the Guru who is a Rasik Bhakta, that devotee will convince us that this particular anartha is not worth having in the heart. This is what is the entire purport of this entire incident. So at this point of time, they killed Dhenukasur and came back from the forest, and dear devotees, when they came back to the forest, they were all victorious with the tal fruits. They came back and something happened. Please read.
Thus, they killed all of them and threw them into the palm trees. Because of the dead bodies of the asses, there was a panoramic scene. It appeared as if clouds of various colors were assembled in the trees.
Okay, there was a panoramic scene. On your phone, you might have seen panoramic view. When you want to capture 360 degree in a single scene, it's called panoramic view. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. You could not capture it in a single vision. Panoramic means it was such a broad vision, so that you had to actually look in the entire directions to see the entire domino effect. Please read ahead.
Hearing of this great incident, the demigods from the higher planets showered flowers on Krishna and Balaram and beat their drums and offered devotional prayers. When Krishna and Balaram entered the village of Vrindavana along with their friends, they played their flutes, and the boys praised their uncommon activities in the forest. Their faces were decorated with tilak and smeared with the dust raised by the cows, and Krishna's head was decorated with a peacock feather. Both he and Balaram played their flutes.
Both him and Balram at this point of time played the flutes. There is a very special reason why. Please read ahead.
And the young gopis were joyous to see Krishna returning home. All the gopis in Vrindavana remained very morose on account of Krishna's absence. All day they were thinking of Krishna in the forest or of him herding the cows in the pasture. When they saw Krishna returning, all their anxieties were immediately relieved, and they began to look at his face the way drones hover over the honey of the lotus flower.
This is not that drone, okay? Bumblebees, okay? Yeah.
When Krishna entered the village, the young gopis smiled and laughed.
Oh, something has started changing, devotees. Something has started changing. Some feelings are blossoming. And we are progressing from Vatsalya to which rasa, dear devotees? So, dear devotees, at this point of time, Sri Harishwari says, Bhagavan, now is the time for the main purpose of your incarnation. The verse is in the meter, Prithvi. I'll sing, please sing after me. दुराद्वघलनाशनं सुजनकामसम्पूरणम् व्रतद्वयमहर्निशं लसति चारुदेन प्रभो विभाव्य मनसेति ता युवतयस्तमभ्यर्चयन् स्वगाम परिपूर्तये सपदि दर्शिताद्य व्रतम् Bhagavan, you arrive for two reasons. Duradva khalanashanam vinashaya cha dushkritam, for destroying the demons. Sujana kama sampuranam, and protecting the kama, the desires of the devotees. To fulfill the desires of the devotees you appear. Vratadvayamaharnisham, these two vows you take in every incarnation. Lasati charudina prabhu, you are a very merciful Lord. Vibhavya manasetita. Now, dear devotees, the gopis are also telling you something. Abhyarchayan, by worshipping you, you have fulfilled the first vow. Duradva, khala nashanam, you destroyed khala. La and ra have no difference. You destroyed khara. What is the meaning of khara? Donkey. Now begin the second vow. Fulfill our kam. This is why you have come. Now, when will you begin the second vow of fulfilling our kam? Kam here is amorous desire. Now, begin the fulfillment of the second vow. Fulfillment of our amorous desire. Please read.
There are two vows that are visible in all incarnations of the Lord. One, destruction of the ruffians, and two, fulfilling the kama, desires of the devotees. The gopis thus indicated to the Lord while worshipping him that now, since he had fulfilled the first vow, it was time to carry out the second vow of fulfilling their kama, amorous desires.
In this way, dear devotees, our Bhagavan did nothing, almost nothing in the Talvan Lila. Everything was done by whom, dear devotees? Balaram. But our Bhagavan still gets to have the credit, and the gopis tell him, you have killed. Now you also fulfill our kam. Alright? So at this point of time, dear devotees, I'll pause my speech. Thank you very much. Yadatra skalitam kinchid vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushtavam kinchid tad guru reva me nahi. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Okay. Tomorrow is going to be again a very special, I'll not keep tattva so much. Tomorrow morning, final session will be on rasa again, dear devotees, so please come for tomorrow morning. And we have time for one or two queries. Anybody wants to ask anything? Yes, we'll go there to Prabhu and then we'll come to you. Yeah, let's give him the mic.
Thank you, Prabhu, for this wonderful lecture. I have a question. There are two worlds. One is Kunta and one is Vaikunta. But it seems like Goloka is neither. It's actually more Kunta than Vaikunta because there is a lot of anxiety in Goloka, even though there is ecstasy involved. So it is not true when we say that the only place with anxiety is the material world. It seems like the spiritual world is even worse.
Wonderful. So the question is that it seems that the anxiety in the spiritual world is worse than the anxiety in the material world. So might as well stay here. This is, But anxiety is known as chinta. Chinta is taking anxiety. Chinta is one of the sanchari bhavs, transitory emotion of experiencing any rasa. When the associates of Bhagavan are experiencing a particular rasa, chinta, anxiety arises as a transitory emotion and nourishes the main rasa. It arises as a wave and it merges in the main rasa, Vatsalya, Sakhya, Madhurya, and it nourishes the main rasa. There is no material aspect involved, there is no material anxiety related to the three modes of nature involved in this. And there is a very wonderful verse that Sri Jiva Goswami quotes, because there is to say nothing without quoting a praman, and there is the following verse 10, 11, 58. Dear devotees, please sing after me, those who can see. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Ram katham muda kurvanto ramamanascha na vindan bhava vedanam. Do we have another mic to give to him? Yes, please let's give Shrikar Prabhu a mic. Shrikar Prabhu, please read the translation. This is from the childhood pastimes.
In this way, all the cow-headed men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, enjoyed topics about the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram with great transcendental pleasure, and they could not even perceive material tribulations.
And they could not perceive material tribulations. Sri Jiva Goswami uses this verse to show that there is no material suffering in the Leela of Bhagavan. There is absolutely no material suffering, no material anxiety. Material anxiety that causes more attachment to one's own body and further makes us absorbed in the material world, that material anxiety doesn't exist there. Anxiety which nourishes one's bhakti ras and which has no element of material suffering, which is fully within the framework of bhakti ras, which is full of joy, that anxiety exists in the spiritual world. And therefore even the anxiety when Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan says in his commentary to Laghu Bhagavatamritam, and I'd like to point it out, where Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan says this. So Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan says in Laghu Bhagavatamritam, dear devotees, please repeat after me. Vraje prakata leelayam Trin masan viraho muna. So Vraje in Vrindavan in Prakati Leela, there was a separation of how many months, dear devotees? 3 months. Trin masan. In the commentary, Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan says, please repeat after me. Iti viraha ananda aswada nirbharo. Iti viraha ananda aswada nirbharo. To enjoy the overflowing ecstasy of the joy of separation. This is what Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says. There is no material anxiety involved in the spiritual world. Even in the case of Bhagwan leaving them in Prakat Leela, what to speak of minor anxieties? Those are not going to affect them on the material level at all. So, but it is a topic which is understood only when we get in the framework of rasa. Outside of the framework of rasa, it is very difficult to understand these things. But some explanation I tried to give. All right? So, should we pause now or... Maharaj, should we pause now? Okay. Can we take one more question? Okay, let's take one more question. Let's take one from the Vaishnavis. Okay, so yeah. Mic. The mic is coming to the East Coast. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. It was a wonderful class and I'm very fortunate to be here. So, lot of questions, but I'll keep it short. So, I think when you were speaking about catharsis, the rasa, like the disconnect which happens with the false ego, I was thinking that that feeling even happens while you watch movies, not just the transcendental ecstasy, right? So that catharsis or the rasa is also happening within the material plane. So is it like, how do you understand that?
Oh, wonderful question. So when you watch a drama or a movie in the material world, that catharsis may still take place and you may still experience that particular feeling of rasa. So what distinguishes this from bhakti rasa and what is so special about bhakti rasa? Well, there are two very important things which are special about bhakti rasa, and please hear carefully. When we go and watch a movie, you said movie. A movie is actually a dead medium. it is not a live medium and there are not actual people on the stage. So when there are not actual people on the stage, your heart is already telling you it's a recording, don't take it so seriously. Unless it is deeply affecting you. Okay, unless something deeply affects you, usually most of the things we know in the back of our mind, it's a recording. But in any case, even if it affects us temporarily. It may be able to disconnect us from our ego temporarily, and we may become absorbed in that particular scene of the movie. And therefore the acharyas say that even in the material world, in material dramas also, when rasa appears, it appears with a slight touch of the transcendental. I hope you are able to understand. It is not fully transcendental, but it has a slight touch of the transcendental. But the difficulty is that it absorbs you more in the three modes of nature. The more you watch this, the more you are absorbed in the three modes of nature, and the more you start getting entangled in the material world. This is one difference. Secondly, in the material world, you can't replicate this. Whatever you see in the movies, and they lived happily ever after, or whatever, that doesn't happen in the material world. That doesn't happen. Secondly, there is no chance of you becoming a participant in a play in the material world. For example, Romeo and Juliet. So Juliet died and Romeo consumed poison. That's what I was told. Can you become a participant in that lila? No. But here you have a chance of becoming an active participant, because Krishna lila is going on eternally, even at this point of time. So what will you do by hearing Romeo and Juliet? If after everything is said and done, your name Mataji? No, your civil name. When after watching it, you have to come back as Sumita. What will you do by watching Romeo and Juliet? Better to have Radhika Naam as the name and enter into Krishna Lila. I hope you are able. So that identity has been given so that you can enter into Shri Krishna Lila. And that is the identity by which you can become a participant in that Leela. You can become one of the actors on the stage directly with Shri Krishna. That opportunity you will never have in the drama of the material world. So that is the answer to the question. Short and sweet, the rasa in the material world has a slight touch of sattva guna of the material world. But bhakti rasa doesn't even have that touch. And secondly, you can't participate as an active participant in the dramas in the material world, whereas you can become an active participant in the dramas of the spiritual world. So that is the solution. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.